In this video, I decided to go for an impossible gap down the middle. I go for a crash and hit a barrier in Daily Race B. In Daily Race C, it happens to be one of my worst races I have ever done. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2025, and your eyes are not deceiving you. Yes, that is Bluemoon Speedway. We've finally returned to this circuit, which I assumed Gran Turismo didn't know existed. Right, what are we doing here then? We're doing 8 laps, weak slipstream with a grid start, no penalty checks, don't worry about that. Sports hard tyres, and we're in the Hyundai Elantra N with balance of performance on. Now, I'm not sure why we're using this car again, bearing in mind it's got a time trial. Maybe Hyundai are dishing out some dough right now and, you know, Gran Turismo saying, fine, fair dues, we'll put your car in again. Who knows? Anyway, if you do not like this race, you can jump to Daily Race B or Race C respectively with those timestamps that are in the background. However, we are staying with this daily race like we always do. Now, let's give you some key statistics. Well, I've used this track 0 times. This is specifically Infield B, by the way. I didn't actually reference which track it was, Infield B. So it's all blank, basically, in terms of statistics. Turn 1 is very RNG with this car in terms of weight transfer, etc. Very hard to get right. And it is a tight circuit. The last corner as well, or second to last corner, should I say. The last braking zone, at least. Yeah, that can get a bit tricky as well. Without further ado then, let's jump into this race. And this is actually my second race of the day. And you'll find out what happened in the first in a short later this week. But yeah, let's see what happens in this one. Right, here we are then at the start, as I say, of my second race, not the first one. We're starting in P11 here then, and with the penalty check not being on, foot to the floor, traction control on 1, that's all you need to do. You don't have to hold the brake here at all, as when it start hits, your car will just go. And you see that traction control is needed a little bit here. Some people are getting slow starts there, not sure why, maybe wheel spin, who knows. We have a Spanish driver there, that was the pole position sitter. They go to the left-hand side, they're doing a last to first challenge here as we go towards turn number 1. Already gaining some position, so I take the very inside line there to avoid the weight transfer of the turn. As we go through here, we had a slight tap from behind, which forced us in then to that Czech driver on the right-hand side, WLR. But we continue on through here. Now, we're going to head into the slight left here now. This one is very tricky. You can understeer very easily into the car by the side. And I thought I understeered into them and put them into the barrier. However, I've checked the replay after. It doesn't quite seem to be the case. However, I'm going to the left-hand side here to let them go, figuring it was my fault. And I go to the back of the pack then as we go into arguably the last corner here, and we get it stopped and then start to accelerate through. Unfortunately, nowhere to go there, and Fraga there stays ahead of me. And we're at P12, so we're doing the last first challenge ourselves now. We head towards turn 1. Once again, I'm taking a slightly less sort of extreme line there to avoid the weight transfer. Notice that the car stays a bit more stable, taking that inside line as we continue on through here. Lap number 2, and we head on out. We're in 4th gear there. Remember, this car has a turbo, so you can actually go in the lower gear, to higher gears there, use the lower RPM, and you'll be absolutely fine. Had to lift off there a little bit for Fraga on the right-hand side, just to make sure they didn't understeer into the barrier as we go through the right-hander. Then I lift off here. I'm just staying back now, hoping to get a run on the exit as we go into this corner. So we go into here, take a nice tight line. We get on the inside of Fraga. That's us done there. WLR, not sure what's going on with there, but look at this. There's a gap in the middle, and I go for it. There we go. Look at that. 2 positions. Then the ghost reappears of Alvaro. So we actually get a 3rd position. We've gone from P12 to P8 in 1 corner. I know I said 3rd position there, but that was after the first move. Gonna head towards turn 1 here, and the Polish driver sends it down the inside. Then do they get it stopped? I get a whole load of oversteer there, which forces me into the inside of them. They then accelerate out there, and arguably didn't give me a lot of room there. Did push me out, then I get hit again there. Not sure that was the greatest thing in the world, but even so, we continue on here, all saying may have been a mistake, I don't know, as we go through this left-hander. WLR then does tap me into the barrier then. That was probably a mistake, but after what happened on lap 1 where I let them through, I was expecting them to do the same, but apparently not. There, big tag between those two. Up ahead then as we head into this braking zone. I believe it does sort themselves out as we go through here. I do get a run out of that corner, and here we go again. The start, finish straight, and a little bit of the bank in there. We head to lap number 4 then, getting on the inside of Alvaro here. Once again, I like this line because the weight transfer is reduced. I can control the car just that bit more. The weight transfer in this car is massive, and I'm not a particular fan of this car at this circuit, to be honest with you, because of that weight transfer. Even so, we're still having a good race here. Alvaro then on our right-hand side does get more momentum through that corner and is going to actually get to that position again then. So we're down to P10 here, and we get a bit of bump draft there from the Polish driver behind. So I can only assume it was a mistake earlier on in the race. Right, we're going to head towards the braking zone here again, and this time to be a lot. You can see absolutely gets it wrong there. Going to go straight into the barrier. In fact, they're actually going to quit the race then after that point. So we are going to get the position, and we can continue on with the racing and not worrying about that driver because they did seem a bit extreme with their moves. And we'll have a look at that in the bloopers as well. So coming into here, notice how stable it is there, taking the tighter line into this corner. Yes, it's a bit slower, but at least it's consistent, unlike the outside line, which is absolutely drastic with the way you do it. And we'll look at that, of course, in the lap guide. So the Polish driver there on my inside as we go through here, and we are a bit cautious. Unfortunately, we get a slight tap there into the barrier, and we continue on here. Once again, nobody waiting up for me when they do it, but even so, we go into turn 1 here. Polish driver all sorts of sideways there in the BMW Elantra. Yes, we're calling it that due to that livery as we continue on through there. Just avoiding them as we go through the bump. You can see the blind behind has opened. You know who has opened that for us as we go through the left-hander. Here we go. Then we're back on the back of Alvaro. Yeah, we're saying back many times. Hopefully not drinking every time I say that because you'll end up in hospital or back there anyway with these drinking games. In towards the last corner we go then hard on the brakes. Make sure we cut the inside as much as we can. That gives us the best line on the exit. And it looks like we're not getting anything at the moment. Alvaro all over the back of the French driver. We get a run on the Spanish driver. But the Spanish driver then using that slipstream, the weak slipstream in this daily race, looking to get ahead of him again. So I pull towards the right side. Babylon there goes towards the left as we go into the braking zone once again. We managed to slow it down. Everyone controls it very nicely as we go on through there. And you notice the French driver just understeers a little bit into the Spanish driver. We continue on through here, trying to get on the inside of Alvaro. Not quite working here, but what you are seeing here is fantastic racing, and that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. That's why I actually did this race again, because due to an incident I didn't actually see any of the racing, and I like to experience the race properly as we go through this right-hander side by side. So you can have some good racing here. It does depend on the driver, as we've seen earlier on in this race. But look at this, through the left-hander. Normally there'd be a crash there side by side, but me and Alvaro make it work. Brilliant racing from the Spanish driver there as we continue on through here side by side in that last corner. Very, very, very difficult to do. And it's nice to see that you can do it with people there. So, yeah, big shout out to you there, Alvaro. As we head towards the line now, we're about to start the final lap there. We can't actually tuck into the slipstream here right now just because we have the BMW Elantra there going on through. As we head towards turn number 1, we actually advance further on here, and we're heading towards the final braking zone. So as we go through this kink right here, the Polish driver just doesn't see the inside of the barrier there because we're so close to Alvaro, and we actually go around the outside of them through the last corner, and we go back up to P9. I'm not sure whether they actually backed out that last corner knowing that they had damage. Again, a score of 5.5. Do check out the full details down below here. Mainly the car. I don't think the car suits us at all. I do think they should have actually used something else rather than the Elantra. Here's the lap guide, though, brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. Make sure you do check out that in the description and in the pinned comment as well. As we head towards turn 1, the 100 board is your marker here for turn 1. Now, the lines you take varies, as I showed in the race. You can go for an inside line, which means your weight consistency or weight movement will be reduced, or a high line here, where you are going to see the weight drastically change as well. But if you can get it right by pointing inwards and adjusting accordingly, you can reduce it, as I did there. So I actually nailed this pretty nice, to be honest with you. I'd drop to third gear, just get a bit of rotation, then up to fourth, using the turbo of this car to accelerate through the corner. Do be careful as you go back onto the circuit. That little bump can chuck you wide by a meter or so, and that does mean the barrier can be a distinct possibility if you are very close to it already. So it's fast and flat through the left. We go through the right now. This is flat as well. And what we're looking for here in our next brake marker is the start of the curb there on our right-hand side. You see, I've just got on the brakes right now. I want you to brake in a straight line, and I don't want you to turn in too early. Very easy to do here. If you turn in too early, you're going to end up in the barrier on the outside. So, brake straight and true. Do not move. Straight and true all the way down the curb here. The last sign there, that's your turning marker. Notice I release the brakes. 70 miles an hour through there is critical in terms of if you can do it, happy days. But make sure you cut the inside there. We head towards the line then, and we get 58.2. And you can follow that lap on the leaderboard, of course. That's it for Daily Race A. We jump to Daily Race B then, where we're in that Nissan GTR. So, effectively Group 4, as you can see, a Mazda 3 and a Porsche there as well. And we're at Yamagiwa, believe it or not. 5 laps here with custom slipstream, a rolling start, racing hard tyre, and of course, you can adjust the brake balance here in Group 4. Tyres 1 fuel and tyre wear, the usual stuff for Daily Race B. The sprint race is what I'd like to call it. In terms of key statistics here at Yamagiwa, we've used this track 8 times. Only 4 for this track and car combo, which was a surprise to me, to be honest with you. And we last used this track on the 9th of December 2024, which is eons ago, it feels like. You do have to cut the chicane, so do be careful of that one. It's very annoying. And the S's in Sector 1 can be very dangerous if you go side by side. So make sure you tuck in behind somebody or make sure you get ahead before them. I chose the GTR for the race, but I'm in the Genesis for qualifying. Let's jump into this one and let me show you exactly what happens. Right, here we are then at the start. Spark starting in pole in a Suzuki Swift Sport. I couldn't get the words out then. I'm in P12 in that GTR. And if you are enjoying this video, as always, give it a like and subscribe to the channel. If you do like it, that just tells me you like this video series and it keeps on going with the channel. And I'll keep putting in that effort and try to improve it where I can. Right, we head towards turn 1 then. What a trail break into this corner. Max Power decides to go for a very wide line, but going to get a big old boost as he comes back on in a Red Bull livery there as well. Max Verstappen livery now. What are your thoughts? Oh, Max at Nordschleife. Do let me know down in the comments. Through we go then. Here we go. We got a Mazda 3 up ahead. Sammy State looks like he went out wide, but also has a 0.5 second penalty. That suggests the chicane was done slightly wrong here. We're on the inside of Max Power, though, as we go on to the brakes. Now, we had to slow that down there as we would have rear-ended Mario Sonic. And Mario Sonic wouldn't have been very happy with that one. Max Power tried round the outside and maintains position. And as we head down here, side by side through this corner, very dangerous indeed. But here we go. Oh, Mario Sonic backside of it then for the very reason of being dangerous as we continue on through here. So all said and done, we're still in the same position apart from Max Power, who's gained 1 place. But Sammy State does have that 0.5 second penalty, and we do have to consider that in our calculations as we leave this last corner because we should gain a position. At least we've profited on this first lap. So we're going to stay behind Mario Sonic here. That Mazda 3, of course, is going to be very quick in a straight line, being a front-wheel drive car. So we can't really go for the move or send it into turn 1 as we look. Well, apparently we can. So I didn't remember I even did this. So we do send it into turn 1. Had to brake for it early there, did Mario Sonic. So we tried to take advantage of that. But here we go. The front wheel drive car accelerating out of the corner. It's a very quick car. And remember what I said in the key statistics. Side by side up the hill. But don't do it. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. I'd highly recommend you don't do it. We go through here, there, slight tap there between me and Velasco. Nothing major, that was just a racing incident. But you can see that we continue on in towards left-hander. They're still side by side up ahead. Once again, you're seeing fantastic racing, and this is what I like about these race combos, is that you can have racing all the time. So we're going to the chicane here, around the outside of Ugandan, who's been absolutely mugged at this moment in time. Actually lost so many positions just from being on the wrong line. As we head towards the last corner here, then that's Mario Sonic around the outside of Max Power. Is he going to keep? That's the question. Oh, so close there, Max Power, and a very big boss. We continue on through here. Let's see what Mario Sonic does. The power of that front-wheel drive car working magic there. So we go towards the right-hand side. We want to get into that slipstream. There we go. We're in it. Max Power cannot move over as we head towards turn 1. We are on the outside line, though, which is very difficult to actually get a position with. Let's see what we can do here in the Nissan GTR. That number 3, see the latter there in Steve's liveried car, and Jimmy's, of course, as well in that BMW M4 behind. But we're going to the right-hander here. Let's say I lift off there. I don't want to go side by side through here. Very dangerous, as I said on the previous lap. And all said and done, we're still in P10, or arguably up to P10. However you want to word this then. So I go defensive here. I don't want Velasco to go down the inside. I want to maintain this position as we go into this corner then. We just trail brake a little bit, keeping an inside line. Oh, a bit of contact there between a very big boss and Max Power. We get the inside of Max Power then. Velasco comes back here as well. Look at this. Max Power then gets the boost. We're 3 wide right now as we head down towards the chicane. This is scary and a half as the bit of contact there. And we're 3 wide now going into this. I'm trying to give everybody space where I can as we continue on through, and we're still side by side, not 3 wide anymore, 2 wide, and we stay ahead of the Citroen. Max Power loses out during the chicane then, so we finally get ahead of them. Velasco was the big beneficiary in all of that as we go into the hairpin here at Yamagiwa. So keep it nice and tight, break away if we can. We continue on through. Sammy Snake back in the picture along with Ugandan behind, and the servers were playing up this morning. They really were as we come down towards what I would call a kink essentially. As we go through there, I just hit the curb in the wrong way, took off essentially in the Nissan GTR. So now we have to go defensive versus Ugandan, who's behind me right now. In towards the braking zone we go. Keep it nice and tight. Look to accelerate through the corner. Do we do it? Yes, we do. Oh, very close though. Ugandan still here, and Ugandan giving me a bit of a bump draft. So we advance towards the chicane and lap number 4. In we go as we continue on through here, mounting on the curbs. You see how bouncy it is. It's horrendous, by the way, that chicane. I really do not like it at the moment in its current form. Now, Velasquez had a run on our very big boss using a Lamborghini Huracan here as we go onto the brakes. I wasn't sure where to place my car. I can see Velasquez made a really good move here. And if Velasquez can pull this off, fair play. As we get on the inside then of our very big boss. And we are up here then as we head down the hill. Now, I did not want to be in a compromised position, so I'm trying to get over as much as I can, but I can't do that. We're going to have to really slow the car down as we go through here. Our very big boss is also compromised there, which does give us a bit of breathing room behind because we do maintain position. Very hard to do it that way. Anyway, we're about to lap later. Same corner. We have broken away a little bit here then as we head down here. We're going to chuck it left, and unfortunately for me, I mount it way too much down. The car gets all wiggly. I'm trying to catch it. Sammy Snake then hits my rear, but that's not a Sammy Snake. That's all on me. The car was already losing itself there. We caused absolutely well, look at the carnage there. Got mass power going sideways there. Sammy Snake's waiting up for me. I don't feel you should have waited up there. So this is why I'm going to give you the position back, because definitely shouldn't have waited up. That's all on me. Made the mistake going through the corner. Then the car got all oversteery and you had nowhere to go other than into my rear there. So that's purely on me. Thank you for waiting up all the same. In terms of race score, 6.5 out of 8. It's very common for race B to be 6.5 out of 8. Hard to actually deviate from that on the point scoring system. Right, we're going to jump to the lap guide then. Brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. We're doing this in the Genesis G70, which you can see in the bottom right hand side there, plus 5 brake balance, both in this car and the GTR. Turn number 1 then, the 50 board on the right hand side. It's just after the marshal box, okay? This is our brake marker, but we want to trail brake into this corner. So we want to point towards the corner and trail brake. Not 100% braking, but just make sure the car is slowing itself down nice and low, so I stay at around 50%. Now, I've dropped to 3rd gear, and I'm going to go back to 4th gear. You can't just do this in 4th gear in the Genesis. We have these billboards, the last white billboard there, as it hits the center of your screen. This is your accelerating marker. It's a really good marker, this. Really, you should be on the curb. That's the critical part of this. The curb is very grippy, so as long as you touch it, you're absolutely fine. I lifted a little bit there because I wasn't quite on it, and the lift put me on it, and then I could accelerate through the corner. We continue on towards the S's. You want to do these as straight as possible. So over towards the right-hand side, straight line it. Turn early here, clip the curb, straight line it. Then once again, to the right slightly, and then straight line it. You just want to keep straight. The more you turn, the slower you will go up the hill because the tyres will screw up. We head towards this fast left-hander, and we're using the 50 board here. Similar to turn number 1, we want to trail brake all the way into the corner. So I'm going to point towards the corner now and then just brake. Braking between 25 and 50% is all you need to do here. Slow the car down gradually. You'll clip the curb. You'll go out a little bit and then you want to come back towards the curb. So there's the clip. We go out a little bit, dab the brakes, slow it down. Then we want to come back towards the curb, the second apex. Notice there, we did that lovely jubbly. And that's what you want to do there. Clip the curb, go out a bit and clip the curb again. We're going to head down the hill then towards the most annoying corner, arguably in Gran Turismo. It's very much up there. This chicane. So we've got the 100 board and the white line on the right. I use the white line on the left, weirdly, so as it disappeared off the screen, I then hit the brakes. But it's literally at the 100 and the white line on the right-hand side. Now, how you hit this curb, you want to literally stay out wide and come in, and then hopefully straight line the first bit, get a nice bounce. And if you get a nice bounce on the first bit, you'll absolutely be fine. But you have to do it that way. And if you get it wrong in the slightest, the car will bounce all over the place. Well annoying. Absolutely frustrating. It's why I didn't do many laps here, because it was just annoying the heck out of me trying to even do this. So, yeah. Avoid it like the plague, to be honest with you, that chicane. Anyway, here we go with the letters, the yellow letters there. The end of them is your brake marker. Stay out wide initially. Go for a nice wide angle through this corner and you'll be absolutely fine. Let me demonstrate this then. So hard on the brakes. We start to release the brakes. Let's say we haven't clipped the curb yet. We are looking for those billboards. So really good accelerating markers. There's 5 of them. The last 2 are normally the best ones to use here, which is why I've highlighted those 2. So when they appear on your screen, you should have slowed the car down enough by this point, and then you can accelerate through and you will make it round the corner. It's very easy to start understeering, and I can't remember if I understeer a little bit here. I do understeer a tiny bit there, so I really need to just get a tiny bit more rotation, but we continue on all the same. And down here then to where I demolished my own race, and through here, lift off a little bit. The end of the curb is your brake marker. Now, fortunately in the Genesis, with the way the weight distribution is, I'm not actually sure, the suspension setup, who knows? You can actually mount the curb on the left a little bit more in the Genesis than you can in the Nissan GTR. That's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to hit the brakes, then release them, then turn into the corner. Once I've gone over the curb, I then accelerate through, head over towards the left-hand side. It's very hard corner to get right that, but as you get used to it, make sure you lift off as you go down the hill. We get to this final corner then. We have a 50 board and the marshals there. This is your final brake marker. I want you to point towards the corner here and go hard on the brakes. A nice tight line actually works out very nicely in Group 4. There's not a lot of power in these cars, so tighter lines are actually better to reduce the distance towards the line. Notice there, trying to keep it nice and tight. Once we clip the curb, we can continue on through. You may want to use the billboards that are on the outside line if you wish as an accelerating marker. I don't. I keep it nice and tight there, and that's a 142.583. And you can follow that one on the leaderboard as well. Daily Race C, Group 3, Dragontrail Seaside. You've seen it right there with that fantastic camera angle. And I'm in that BMW M6 GT3 car. We're doing 13 laps here at Seaside with custom slipstream. It's a rolling start. Racing medium and hard tyres are both required. ×2 fuel, ×5 tyre wear. And of course, you can adjust the brake balance in Group 3 machinery. Seaside, of course, a very dangerous circuit with the chicane of death, but it's not the only dangerous corner on the circuit. There are many, in fact, and that's one of the issues here at the circuit. Hard tyres are also very slippy, and we started with the issues first rather than doing it normally. We've been here 9 times, striking car combo only 3 times, which was a surprise to me, and we last was here on the 28th of April 2025, so a few months ago, so it's fair play to use this one again. As I say, I'm in the BMW M6 GT3 car. There's a lot of dangerous corners here, and I actually experienced quite a few of them in this daily race. So let's jump into this one and let's have a look at exactly what happens. Right, the final race, and Sammy Snake's on pole in the same car I'm in, the M6 GT3 Endurance model. A mixture of cars in this one, and if you do enjoy this video series, as always, give it a like and subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with the content as well. We head towards turn 1, rolling start nice and easy here, bit uphill, so it's a bit more of a disadvantage for the ones at the back, but hey, it is what it is. We continue on through then, and up ahead, we can see somebody off to the left, spears off to the right. Oh, it's Huggy. Huggy is gone. Ugandan, I think, was taking avoiding action there as we head towards the kink for the first time of asking here. Hard on the brakes. Max Powell's on the inside of Ugandan. They're both in AMGs here as we continue on through there then, and we're about to head to a nice set of corners, actually. I like these corners on Dragontrail Seaside. The S is here as we're going to go onto the brakes. In we go. Oh, somebody's off towards the right-hand side there. No idea who that is. We'll have a look at that one in the bloopers to find out. I have no idea how you end up off there as we continue. Oh, the server. I forgot about that. The server was playing havoc in this daily race. As you saw it there, everyone moved all over the place, and I'm at a disadvantage there. Damage, forced back. I actually lose some positions there, which is a bit unfortunate, really. Hard on the brakes, so we're still in the fight here. Not that far off the lead, so plenty can happen in this race. So I started on the racing hard tyres, of course, because I'm towards the back in this race. Now, if you're towards the front, you might start on the mediums. You might start on hards anyway. It depends, but obviously, the harder the tyre you're on in terms of racing hards, if you're following a medium, you're going to benefit from slipstream. As we see some crashing here at the chicane of death there. Somebody was going slow through there, hit the barrier, and we're actually going to get 3 positions. Happy days indeed. Max Power gets a 0.5 second penalty as well for I have no idea what. Through the right-hander we go, and we are up to P11 now. Shadow now behind us here in that Nissan GTR. So Shadow was a part of that incident during the chicane, of course. So we are now in the slipstream of the AMG. We're catching quite quickly here. I think Shadow's still got damage, which is why he's dropping off there in that Nissan. We go towards the left-hand side of Max Power as we're going to go hard on the brakes now in towards turn 1. Very hard to get this move sorted. We do get it stopped, though. Through the right-hander we go. Max Power's looking to carry speed around the outside. Does it well. Shadow gives me a bit of bump draft. I appreciate that as we head towards the kink here for the second time of asking. We turn in. Unfortunately, we get it all wrong, and we take off and go into the barrier there. Up ahead, we've got somebody off. I believe that was Shelty from memory who's off. Nice to see Shelty racing. Shelty struggling at the moment. But give a shout out to Shelty in the comments, folks. Give Shelty some support there using the Toyota Supra, which we don't actually see anymore, to be fair, to Gran Turismo. Up ahead, we've got another crash there. That's the Estonian off there. Nice to see you in the races. You did say hello. Max Power there holding up as well. We'll look at that one in the bloopers to find out what happened with them. We've got a lot of bloopers in this one, and you're also seeing how dangerous this circuit is. You know, crashes absolutely everywhere so far. Every single lap. Yellow flag here, lap number 3, chicane of death. Only one outcome there. Somebody's obviously died. As we continue, oh, Sparks 3 there appears out of nowhere, so they've had a big crash in the chicane. Lap number 4, chicane of death. What a surprise here. We're going to continue on through then. Any crash? Oh, yeah, somebody into the barrier there. It's the French driver. Easy spin. They've gone, so we're now up to P8. But every single lap, we're seeing a death. Every single one so far, and it's at least one, if not more. It shows you how dangerous this circuit actually is. Now, Huggy behind was involved in an earlier incident. Fortunately for me, I sort of worked out it was on racing medium tyres. So I'm going to let Huggy go here right now. And I'm going to short shift just to make sure Huggy gets ahead there. I don't lose any time as we head through the right-hander then and head towards turn 1. So I'm hoping Huggy here can pull me along. I feel like what I said about the strategy, you know, I'm on racing hards, but if the mediums could pull me along, I actually benefit from increased speed there. So continuing on through here. Sparks 3 is behind as well. My assumption there with the Sparks was also that they were on racing medium tyres. We head towards the kink here as we go into here. I was hoping to catch up some speed and really gain momentum. Instead, I did the same thing again and clipped the curb. It's very dangerous to clip that, so highly advise you don't try and shortcut it. It is slightly quicker, but as you're seeing, dangerous. And arguably, if you save, what, half a second in the entire race from cutting it, but you crash once, the crash is not worthwhile. So end of lap 5, we're coming in the pits then. Still, crash every single lap so far. And what we're going to do here, we're going to change to the medium tyre now. You see me laughing my head off because it is what it is. This is Dragontrail Seaside in a nutshell. Crashing and barrier hits all over the place. We're going the medium tyres. We'll be used to this one because that's what we used in the time trial, of course, just to get some speed up here and practice as well. And we continue on out. So we advance to lap number 8 then, where we catch up to Norman here in the AMG. Norman goes towards the left-hand side, so I'm going towards the right here as we head towards turn number 1. Actually, need to end up in the side of Norman. So we're going into turn 1. Here we go. Beautiful bit of racing here through the right-hander. And just make sure I don't tap Norman there. Very dangerous to tap someone at that point. The crest of the hill just unsettles the car enough, so a tap will just send someone flying. Through the right-hander we go, not cutting it this time because I'm fed up of going into that barrier as we slow it up then. Through the right we go, got very close to Norman's rear end there as we continue on through. Norman then goes defensive once again, so beautiful racing here. I love the fact that we had this in this race. It shows you racing can happen here as the server had a bit of a moment then as we continue on through the left-hander. Norman defends that nicely. Through the right we go, and now we're going to head all the way down to Cruise Corner. Who remembers when Lady Tidge named this Cruise Corner? Yes, because there's a cruise liner in the distance, as you can see right there. Norman goes defensive then. We go towards the left-hand side. On the brakes we go. I'm hoping to get the cut back here. That's my goal. And I'm trying to get ahead of Norman before the chicane of death because it's very hard to see when you're behind someone in the chicane of death. So what I advise you to do is actually lift off a little bit. Let them extend the gap so you can have a bit more visibility. And that's what I was trying to do initially there. Notice I'm lifting now as we go through here. So I go through here and I clip the barrier. I have another crash. Yes, I've never crashed so much in all my life. I think this is one of the worst races I've done in terms of crashing. But even so, we continue on. I'm staying on the racing line here. I'm trying to be very consistent with my movements so it doesn't scare anyone behind. As we go into the final corner here then, I've got damage on my front end and complete front end. So I'm trying to turn the car and the rear just goes on me there and I can't catch it. And that's because I'm overturning just slightly or just enough where the rear end is trying to then rotate past the front end. That's completely on me, that incident. I was a bit frustrated with that one because that's a novice mistake and I really should be making those. We go to lap 11 though, and we catch up to Amfo here, who's had issues as we continue on through the S's. And I had to really slow down there. I actually got scared I was going to hit them because 100 miles an hour, I normally do that corner at 113.14. I had to drop to 100 miles an hour there. Got very close. I did manage to adjust myself accordingly as we head once again down to Cruise Corner. So seeing how slow they went there, I sort of had an idea of what I was going to do here, which was go around the outside, knowing that they were going to slow the car for this corner. And that was the goal, and that's why I did that move there. Normally I wouldn't try around the outside and go for a cutback, but I knew it would work out fairly okay. And Amfo there, clean driving, gave me some space as well. Beautiful stuff as we go through this chicane of death. Can we survive it is the question? Yes, we can. So what we're going to do now is actually advance a bit further ahead to the final lap and the end of the race. Yes, not my best race, if I do say so myself. I blame baby brain. Yes, I reckon guys can have it too. And you have a lack of sleep from the baby. But even so, still have some good racing there with Norman and Amfo. And, you know, you can have some good racing here. So, in terms of the points on the boards, it's got an 8.5 out of 10, which is one of the most common points in terms of daily race seat as well. Because it's just missing little bits here and there. But it does get my seal of approval, as it always does Dragontrail Seaside. I think it's fun. Here's a lap guide though, brought to you by Coach Dave Academy and the Delta app. Make sure you do check that out in the pinned comment and in the description as well. Brake balance +5 here for the BMW M6 GT3. So my brake marker is actually the orange painted barrier on the left hand side. Now I've highlighted the curb as well because you might want to use that. I used to use it in GT Sport, for example, but the orange painted barrier, much better marker. It's before the curb here. I can hit the brakes. You want to stay out to the right side a bit longer than normal here, then turn in. Don't cut the inside, it'll bounce you all over the place. As you go through this right hander, notice that I have to lift. This is what I was talking about in the race. The crest of the hill there can unsettle the car. So just slight lift there. 80% throttle will be more than enough. Through the kink we go. We're going to cut it this time there. Look how dangerous that is. As long as the right tyres don't touch the curb, you won't take off. Now, on the left-hand side here, we've got our next brake markers. Basically, to start and end of the grass. You're going to pick somewhere in between these two markers to brake. Now, you normally use the first marker here because I don't want to outbrake myself. Unfortunately, on this lap, I just broke a little bit too late there. Notice I don't clip the curb. You do want to clip the curb there. It will rotate you. So I do lose a little bit of time on that corner. Even so, though, 33.1, not too bad in the M6 as we head down towards the S's. Now, on the left-hand side, it's a marker I've pointed out for many years. What, 6 years now I've been doing the weekly race guide? Every time we've been at Seaside, that marker is pointed out. The orange painted barrier there. You want to dab the brakes and turn the car in, but you want to carry some speed here in the BMW M6 GT3, and you want to clip the curb on the inside. Okay, let's trail brake a little bit. Once I clip the curb, I can accelerate through 115 miles an hour. One of my best through there as we continue on through. I'm aiming for 110, so 115 is very well done. Now, I go briefly over the curb there. Do be careful about mounting these curbs because they can bottom out the car and you can go for a bit of a spin. Cruise corner then, we have the 150 board or start of the curb. Either of these are really good brake markers. You can use the trees on the right as well if you really want to, but more obvious brake markers are on the left-hand side, so I highly advise you use them then. We're going to brake in a straight line for this one, and only at the end of the braking, you're going to release the brakes a little bit and trail brake into the last little bit here to clip the curb and get that little bit of rotation. This corner opens up, so you really want to maximize the exit there. Use all the curb on the exit, then continue on to the chicane of death, which is flat now in Group 3 because of the balance performance change that happened a few months ago. Notice it's flat. We can do it nice and easy. Not a problem at all. No real dramas there at all. You may find that you struggle a little bit sometimes in some cars. Maybe it isn't flat. So in that situation, lift before you get to the curb, okay? Now, the final corner here, I use the end of the cliff on the left-hand side. You can try and use the 100 board if you want to as a brake marker. The end of the cliff is the better brake marker. Now, I want you to point towards the corner a little bit. Don't stay towards the outside. This is more of a triangle corner. So, you're going to see me point towards the corner now. Notice that. And then I'm going to release the brake. Stay out wide a little bit. The apex, or the corner tightens there. The apex is at the very end there. Then accelerate out. Be careful that curb there. It was really dangerous there. And we head towards line 137.227. And you can follow that lap on the leaderboard as well. Time for some bloopers now, folks. So here is that moment that I thought I'd actually hit the driver on my right off, but I didn't. I lifted. I actually gave them plenty of space there, and they just hit the barrier. So you can see here, I'm trying to give them the place back. And yeah, it is what it is. We jump to their perspective, lap number 2 though, this one, because this is where I just find it very odd. So we're going to come into this corner here. They're going to outbrake themselves a little bit. They release the brakes there, and they're going to go into the Polish driver. So it's not the greatest move in the world, should I say. You've just gone into somebody, so you'd hope to give them back. Then they start hitting the Spanish drivers, and I have no idea why. And I couldn't work this out, and I thought maybe that was a mistake. Until I saw this, where they just purposely punt that driver. And yeah, there's just dirty driving. I really don't like it, and I'm just pointing it out there that that's not the greatest driving, mate. Right, so we're on board Huggy then. This is Daily Race C. So Huggy got it slightly wrong into turn 1, so wanted to let Sparks go, then mounts the curb. Unfortunately, that bottoms out the McLaren, and Huggy goes for a spin into the barrier there. So we jump to Amfo. Oh, this explains why they're off then. So as we come into... oh, hardware failure. Look at that. Straight, no inputs, straight into the barrier. So they've had hardware failure there. That's unfortunate. We go on board Shelty then. Through the kink we go. This is the one that I went off on as well. And Shelty just mounts the curb and unfortunately heads off the circuit. Not quite as dramatic as me actually taking off there into that corner. Again, give Shelty a shout out in the comments, please, folks. As we continue on, then lap number 2 here. The Estonian. Oh, Max Power's gone off there. And then just trying to catch the car, and the Estonian then is impacted by that. Max Power actually waits up for that, and I don't think was necessary. Now, lap number 3 then, Sparks. So we saw Sparks was going very slowly after the chicane. What happened here? And oh, it was Kemp. Oh, very common mistake that. So Kemp hits the barrier, has nowhere to go really, and then Sparks just hits them and then bounces off, glancing blow, and it just fires you off into the barrier. BTM victory here. Now, I noticed they came towards me at some point. Oh, bottoming out the car again there. Yeah, try and avoid that, folks. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all the latest content. But that is it for me. There are 2 videos there to check out, and do check out my partners down below, including Coach Dave Academy. They do partner with me on this video, so it would be worth it to check them out. And the Delta app is actually amazing. Big thank you as well for watching. I appreciate the support, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.